Damn, so how about Battlefield 6, huh? This past weekend, Battlefield 6 had its beta release and it peaked at over 500,000 concurrent players on Steam. I'm unsure of the total player count for all platforms, but to say the first weekend beta was a success would be an understatement. The last Battlefield game to release was Battlefield 2042, and its beta only had around 150,000 players, and when the game launched, it never reached a peak of more than 107,000 players. This beta had triple the 2042 beta player numbers and 5 times more than 2042's all-time peak, at least on Steam. And not to mention, 2042's beta was in 2021, smack dab in the middle of COVID lockdowns when more people were gaming than ever. So, why all the hype? Well, my theory is that there's 2 reasons. One reason is Battlefield 6 is just a damn good game. I'll get into my thoughts on the game in a minute here, but suffice to say, the game is really freaking fun to play. The other reason is I think there really is a huge market for a solid military-style shooter. Call of Duty has completely lost its identity and is just trying to turn itself into Fortnite to sell skins. Battlefield 2042 was a massive flop because it was rushed out the door before it was ready, so even though they apparently did improve the game over time, you only have one shot at a first impression, and unless you drastically improve the game like Cyberpunk 2077 or No Man's Sky, the reality is, most people will just quit and never come back. Look at Halo Infinite. I have long been pissed off at these developers who rush out games before they are ready just to appease shareholders. Look at the mess that Monster Hunter Wilds is in as a result of doing this. It truly benefits no one. All the time and work that the developers have put into the game up to that point is basically squandered because, as I said, you only get one chance at a first impression, and if it doesn't resonate with people, they aren't likely to give you a second chance. We see it time and time again. Remember Anthem? We are living in an immediate gratification world more than ever these days, so people will just be on to the next big title coming out. Luckily, it seems that EA actually learned this lesson that so many gamers have been pushing back against for years, begging companies to just release a polished, finished product so that they can enjoy it. The teams at DICE, Criterion Games, Motive Studios, and Ripple Effect Studios have stepped up to the plate and delivered a truly enjoyable experience, and gamers are rejoicing. To give you some context, I'm an OG Call of Duty guy. I remember my first time ever playing it. I was at my friend's house and we would trade off each game playing Team Deathmatch, and even though I was getting dumpstered in my first few matches, I was totally hooked. I just had this urge to get better. Fast forward like 4 months and I had dumped countless hours into it and reached Prestige 10. I was a master of Team Deathmatch and Search and Destroy. Back then, you had 3 killstreak rewards, and there was nothing but an emblem change for prestiging. We didn't need progression systems to keep us hooked on playing. You didn't need engagement-based matchmaking. I was addicted to the game for one reason, and one reason only. I was having fun. I played the COD installments from 2007 to 2012, and those are what I believe were COD's glory days. There wasn't loot boxes or microtransactions. Every new installment just had a fun campaign and new maps and weapons and skills to vary how you played the online multiplayer. In Black Ops 1, I was that guy who loved marathon and sprint, and I would just run around with the quick knife stabbing dudes. I loved it. Playing online matches with the homies in our college dorms. Yes, I am clearly nostalgic for that era of Call of Duty, and I'm giving off old man in my day vibes, but I don't care. That was COD at its best. I bought up to Advanced Warfare in 2014, but it just didn't hit the same anymore, so I stopped playing. The last COD I actually bought was 2017 with World War II, and that was only because I had just bought a PS4 and a 4K TV, so I wanted to test out a game that was optimized for my new setup. And I will say, the game did look great. And the last time I played any Call of Duty was 2019 because the Warzone Battle Royale was free. And yeah, it was decent, but it never got me hooked like those early CODs did, where I just wanted to keep playing over and over. So that long tangent aside, what I was trying to convey is that I used to play a lot of online military shooters for the simple reason that every game was a good time. That's it. Admittedly, I never tried Battlefield. COD was my game of choice, and when I stopped playing after like 2012, I basically did just stop gaming in general for a few years. So yeah, I never did get into Battlefield, but I do follow gaming news and I know what a shit show 2042 was. And I know some in real life friends who adore the Battlefield franchise, and they were super disappointed with some of the recent installments, and they also wanted to just go back to how it was in the Battlefield glory days. And by all accounts, Battlefield 6 is that game. I'm seeing sentiment online from Battlefield OGs of "we're so back," or that this is one of the best installments that they've ever played despite still being in early access. I got to play a bit this past Sunday, and I have to say, it definitely gave me those old feelings of my early COD days. I was just hopping into the different game modes and trying different classes and weapons, and that was enough for me to have fun. I didn't need any sense of progression. I was having just as much fun in games that I was losing as games I was winning. I was just trying to slay out and help my team, play the OBJ, revive teammates. I had a surprising amount of fun playing support. And again, being new to the Battlefield franchise, I was unfamiliar with lots of the game modes, but I did have fun in all of them. And again, this is just an early access. When the full game launches, I'm sure they'll have more game modes and more weapons to use, more progression systems. And sure, the beta has had some issues. I had some screen flickering a couple times, and some of the discourse I've seen from people who have thousands of hours in the franchise have pointed out issues that they recognize. But by and large, the vibes are very positive. And you know what? That makes me extremely happy. I have a lot of issues with AAA gaming of late, as do many other gamers. I used to be a big Madden player from like 04 to 06, but EA sold their soul for Ultimate Teams, and that franchise is just there as a money printing machine. And I feel the same way about Call of Duty these days. Selling American Dad and Beavis and Butthead skins, it's all just super fucking cringe. Obviously, EA may still try and shoehorn in a bunch of dumb cosmetics or paywall certain things in the latest installment of Battlefield, but I'm truly hopeful that they don't. But at the end of the day, what really matters is whether the game is fun or not. And I can honestly say that this is the most fun I've had playing a shooter in over a decade. I kept just wanting to play one more game, just one more game, and next thing I know, my fiance is telling me she's hungry and wants supper. Ugh, fine, I'll stop. I'm actually super happy I waited till Sunday afternoon to jump in because this past weekend was super nice outside, so I was enjoying the outdoors. But once I finally did sit down to play the game, it had its hooks in me hard. I'm honestly so hyped to keep playing the beta. I'll be streaming it this weekend and playing with a bunch of my IRL friends, so swing by my Twitch at itstizzle7 and come hang out. It's sure to be a good time. You can see a bunch of dad gamers try and hang with FPS sweats. But like I said, even though most games I was middle of the leaderboard, far from my top fragging days in my teens, I was still having a ton of fun. And with where I'm at in life, that's all I really want out of games anymore. So good job, EA. Please don't fuck this up. I'm cautiously hyped. And like I said, I have my issues with AAA, but if this game launches and isn't filled to the brim with cheesy cosmetics or a ton of engagement-based matchmaking, then I will want to support that. I always say to vote with your wallet, but if EA does right by the player and makes a game that people like me have been yearning for years, then I think they earned my money. And another thing that I want to praise them for is I'm super happy that they made the beta free and open to everyone, because if I hadn't got to try it out for free first, I probably wouldn't have even given it a second thought. Like I said, I have no loyalty to Battlefield, and I really don't even play online shooters anymore. I thought that stage of my life had just passed me by, and that I didn't really enjoy sweaty FPS games. I'm more into single-player story games now. But turns out, if it's done right, I still really enjoy that type of game. So yeah, anyways, I just wanted to talk about how much fun I had playing Battlefield 6, despite being extremely skeptical of any modern-day shooters from AAA companies. I know people really love the finals, and now that I know I still enjoy online FPS games, I may give that a shot too. I've heard good things, but sadly, it just doesn't have that far-reaching appeal that Call of Duty or Battlefield have. If you played the Battlefield 6 beta this weekend, let me know how you liked it. As always, thanks to my channel members, and I'll catch you in the next one. Take care.